switching gears and going into the Q&A section of our call. So if you do have any questions, you can feel free to type them in to the discussion panel here. Just scroll down. And by the way, if you are watching a recording, you can always come over here to watch the live, where it says watch the live cast here, and you can still scroll down and participate in the discussion forum. So if you do have any questions, you can still scroll down and participate in the discussion forum. So the first question that I want to answer is about Facebook Business Manager and how you can get your business set up. So somebody had said, well, how can you mentioned Business Manager instead of using real Facebook. So we do have a guide on using Facebook Business Manager that walks you through why to use it and how to use it. But the quick bottom line is, if you just go to business.facebook.com, this is where you can create a business presence that's more separate from your personal profile. You do still need a personal profile in order to be able to use Facebook Business Manager, but it's an entirely separate platform. You can see it looks totally different here. So what's nice about this is it's better to run the ad accounts. Everyone can have access to the same ad accounts. It's better for managing your users and everything else. So, really something to consider if you're serious about Facebook. If it's your own business, maybe, and you're just making updates when you have time, maybe it's easier to just use the Facebook app, but always make sure you have multiple admins in case your account ever gets disabled. So somebody asked to see the ad structure that I mentioned when I talked about, the way you want to set this up is your campaign, your ad set, and your ad. So let me show you really quickly how this works, and I'll show you a live campaign that we're running. And, hey, maybe you see our ads on Facebook, and so some of these things will look familiar to you. So if we start at the campaign level, I can see the campaigns that we're running. So let's take a look at this one here maybe, which is our social media certification. So this is so here we have a campaign for our sale, and here we have one for our certification. Now, in traditional advertising, we would call this always on. So this campaign doesn't necessarily have a start and an end date. It's not hey, let's promote this now and walk away. This is something that's constantly running in order for us to continue to be in front of the people who are interested in doing business with us. So I have my campaign. I want to sell my online certification. Next, I have my ad sets. And so within my ad sets here, I have different target audiences. And what you can see is each target audience has its own budget. So what I found early on was that this audience was outperforming these other two. So at first, they all had the same budget. Then I saw, well, I was getting clicks cheaper here, and I was able to get more clicks. So I upped my budget here and reduced it a little bit in these two. If I look now, I see actually this one is doing the best. So maybe I'm going to rejigger a little bit. So I can start looking at what my ads are doing. Now, something to keep in mind is it's not as simple, and the question wasn't so much about analytics, but I just want to make this point, is if I were rebalancing these ads, you could say, well, Krista, this one is the most expensive. I'm paying almost $2 for a landing page view. But these are people who've already visited our certification page. They're highly interested. So I'm willing to pay more because I believe that this audience is most likely to buy if I can just get them that right message. So I have my campaign, promote the certification. Then I have my ad sets. Here are the audiences that I want to reach. And then if we go into one of them, let's try this one. You can see I have multiple different ads with different value propositions. So now I can see, well, which value proposition does best? And look, this probably won't blow your mind. It's the one that says you save money. And so this is giving me the lowest cost per click, and it's generating the most views. The next one is show your skills. The other thing I noticed is both of these have the same image. So I think this image is probably more compelling than the other two. The other thing I may notice is these are both images and these are videos. So maybe an image works better than a video. So anyways, what happens is I load all 4 of these ads, and Facebook will automatically, it starts off showing all of them. You can see it started off showing all of them. They all have some impressions, but then it starts heavying up the ones that start performing best right away. And at this point, we don't really have enough reach for Facebook to say, yep, this one for sure is best. So they still need to expose more people to it and get more results to be able to make a definitive answer. But you can start to see that this is that this can really make a difference in terms of over time, my ads will automatically be optimized if I just set up multiple ads within an ad set. So this is the structure that was asked about in terms of how it works between ads, ad sets, and campaigns. And if you set these up right, then what you'll find is you can really get the best results for your campaign over time because Facebook will automatically optimize for you. So that's how the ad set, etc. works. So the next question that I have is about search engine optimization. So I'll just go, I'm going to search for myself. So somebody had asked about the sidebar and getting the Google local results in the sidebar. So you can see here, I just searched for myself and I see information, links back to my website. If I search, let's see if I can get the local results to show up with Cincinnati. If I search for Cincinnati, you'll see the local results show up here on the right. Essentially, what local results are is where Google says, hey, I think you're looking for a physical location, and I'm going to show you information about that location. And so you can see this here. Obviously, I actually need to go and update this because it's missing a lot of information, and this is an old address. So if you're watching us, don't go there looking for me. You'll find someone else. But what's interesting is that I can see all of this information in a nice branded impression. So this is Google local results, and you can set these up in what's called Google My Business. So this is intended for local businesses with a physical presence, but of course, any business could use it. So something to check out, Google My Business, that's where you would go to set this up, and it's free, and it will help your listing to stand out even more. Somebody has asked about mobile for their website. And so the question we got is, you talk about mobile being more important. How do I know if my website is good? So if you just do what's called the Google mobile friendly test, just do a Google search for Google mobile test, and you'll see here, is your webpage mobile friendly? Uh-oh. And so I'm going to do the test. We'll see if it'll come back. But this will tell me if my site is mobile friendly and where I may or may not have issues. So if you want to know whether or not Google perceives your website as mobile friendly, especially in the context of mobile is getting prioritization, this is where you can come to check it out. And it's completely free. And Google will give you an analysis of how your site is doing. Something else that I would recommend you take a look at is how fast your website is, especially how fast it is on mobile. And you can also run a Google site speed test. So here I can see my page is mobile friendly, view details, page partially loaded. And so now I can start to see, okay, what are some of the issues? It's a lot of images that we actually have set them up to load later, so that's maybe okay. But I can start to see, well, does Google think this is mobile friendly? How mobile friendly? And are there any other issues? Another thing that you can look at is Google Site Speed Test. So if you want to know, actually, I think it's the wrong link. Hang on. If you want to know if how Google perceives your website to be in terms of site speed, you can come to the Google Page Speed Insights. Oops, I forgot my .com. And I'm going to put in bootcampdigital.com. And it will show me how optimized my website is for both mobile and desktop, and also how fast they are. Site speed is becoming more and more important, not just for Google, but also for Facebook. So something to keep in mind if you want to continue to rank and get traffic to your website. So we only have 2 minutes left, so I'll do a quick last call for questions. If you have any last questions, please feel free to type them in. And so I can see my mobile, I have some work to do. I don't know why the speed isn't showing up. Typically, it should show up. And then I can see my desktop is good. So I have some work to do on mobile. And what's nice is as you start going down, it will show you what you can do to fix these. And it can show me what optimizations I've already done. So it's really cool that I can see, well, what have I already done? What do I need to work better at? And kind of take it from there. So that's Page Speed Insights from Google is where you will find this. And so the last question that we have for today is about LinkedIn. So I'm excited for that. I love LinkedIn, and I feel like we don't talk about it enough. But the last question I got is about LinkedIn, and somebody said, how often should I be posting on LinkedIn? So how often to post is a tricky question on every social network, because what we say is content trumps calendars, right? So content trumps calendars. And what I mean by that is that 5 years ago when I was teaching social media, it was all about post 5 times a day. Here's the best times to post. And over time, all of these social networks have developed algorithms. And what those algorithms do is they float the best stuff to the top. So if you have mediocre stuff 3 times a day, you would do better for one good thing once a day than 3 meh things 3 times a day. So really think about, when do I have good content, because it is algorithm based. So something that I would suggest on LinkedIn is LinkedIn is a little different because many people don't go to LinkedIn every day. According to LinkedIn statistics, about half of people are logging in each day. So it is quite a few, but that means half of people are not. Facebook, more people are on more often. So on LinkedIn, we do have more casual users. So I would say it's nice if you have a new post when people log into LinkedIn each time. So if you log into LinkedIn, you don't want your newsfeed to be Krista, Krista, Krista. Maybe you do. I would love you to, but no, probably you don't, right? There's many things you care about. So I would say aim for a couple posts. I would say at a minimum, aim for a couple posts a week, but posting 1 or 2 times a day is certainly acceptable as well. And really focus on, when do you have good content. So, again, aim for a minimum of a couple times a week. But if you are posting a few times a day, that's okay as well. You don't need to worry about that being problematic. So with that, we have answered all of the questions that have come in. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. It has been my absolute pleasure. And hopefully I will see you next month on our next digital news update. Our next call is scheduled for, I want to say, June 5th. And so hopefully I will see you there. And I was about this close. You can't see me saying this close, but I was very close to getting video working on this call. I had a glitch with my Mac, but next month, my hope is to pre-test and have video working as well, so you can see me and we can have a bit of a better engagement. So thanks again for your time and attention today. It has been my absolute pleasure, and I will look forward to seeing you next month on our next call. Thanks again, and have a great day.